welcome to my channel. This is Dom and a box has arrived. So you know what that means? We're going to have to unbox it. So after the trials and tribulations of the Royal Mail's postal strikes, I've watched everybody else receive their boxes of the Kickstarter that Iain at Flags of War did for his Border Wars rules and figures. Mine finally arrived today, so I can't wait to get in and have a look at it. I've just removed the address and cut the sellotape, so I haven't actually opened it myself yet. So here we go. What is inside? Some nice Watsits. Fantastic. So, according to the manifest, we have in here 2 lots of Border Wars livestock, 1 lot of Border Wars rule set and game cards, 3 sets of game tokens, 1 lot of Reivers mounted, 1 lot of Reivers on foot, the figures for the Annoy party, and the family figures. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. So they're definitely animals. They do look good, don't they? Now you remember, I'll put a link in the description, but some of us YouTubers were sent very kindly by Iain some early figures for this Kickstarter, so I saw how good they were, and it was a very cunning ploy on his part because it meant I then had to buy into it because they were so nice. And the Border Reivers and the Border Wars in the north of England, between England and the Scottish families, just is a fascinating one, and actually is ideal for a skirmish game. So I thought this is perfect for me. I do like the look of these fellas. Look at that. Good cows. And some sheep. So 2 with horns, 2 without, 2 sheep. So I think it said 2 lots of those, did it? Or was that in the same? Oh, there you go, another set there. So there's another set of those. So that's the animals. So this is the... Ah, it said Annoy party on the manifest. It's the Envoy party. Envoy party. Okay. Oops, bag's ripped. So let's have a look at these fellas. So those who don't know, the Reiver period was sort of... Well, I mean, the conflict that went on... Look at that. Sorry, I've just been distracted. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic model, that. There's the Lord with his sword. As you can tell, they definitely have a sort of Edwardian, sorry, Elizabethan type of feeling to them. Now, in practice, the conflict between the families that straddled the border between Scotland and England went on for generations. Vendettas, feuds, all sorts of things, and largely because it was a kind of very remote part of Britain, and they were kind of left to their own devices to police themselves, which is never a good thing. And it wasn't a British, English against Scottish thing. These families were on both sides of the borders, and what would have been termed Scottish families fought against each other as much as they did against the English families, and English against each other. The one thing they all agreed on, they didn't like the governments. So this is the Border family. Couple of children. He's got his stick and a horse. It's another one. Not the same figure. Not quite. This one's got this one's got a pot on its head. This one's got a cap on its head. All metal figures, as you can see. A lady with a pail. Very nice. Now, let's look at the other figures before we go on. So this is the Border Reiver mounted Reivers. Now, Ian had sent me one of these previously. So in the box you've got 5 mounted figures, a Heedman, a hero, and 3 Reivers, 5 bases and 5 profile cards. There we go. There's the mounted man himself. So which one was that? I'm guessing he's either the Heedman or the hero. Probably the Heedman. Or head to you and me. Guy with a pistol. Very nice detail on these. What I fell in love with when I saw them. One of the Reivers. Another one of the Reivers. Whoops. Yeah, lovely detail on these figures, and they paint up beautifully, beautifully well. And there's your horses. Oh, this one's intriguing. So the legs are separate on this one. Okay, separate legs for that one, but the others are all one casts. Interesting. We've got some spears here. We've got crossbow and some shields. They got the 40mm bases that it said it would, and here's the character cards as well. So nice that you get all this in the pack together. So this is the leader, so he's the guy with the sword. Attack D10, activate D10, attack D10, shoot is a D8, defense is a D10, intelligence a D8, agility D6. He's got a sword which does 3d6 damage. He can duel. He's got dueling pistols. And 2 reloads by the look of it, and he's wearing half armour. So there you go. That looks lovely. Don't know what that means yet, but we shall investigate in due course. So that's the mounted Reivers. So this is the foot party. So you've got the Heedman on foot this time, 2 Reiver heroes and 5 Reivers with 8 25mm bases plus the profile cards. Again, I think a couple of these I recognise that he sent me previously. Yeah, this dude was one he sent me before. Very nice indeed. Love this guy with the... Is that a glaive? I think it's a glaive you call that one. Very nice. With this classic Elizabethan billowy pantaloons. There's the archer. Saw some people got this one in advance. I didn't, but it's a really nice figure. A little bit of mould there, but we can clear that up quite easily. There's a looter. There's Firebrand. I'm guessing again this is another hero. He's got a short dagger, and I presume somewhere in here will be his long sword. Is that a dagger? Yeah, it is a dagger. It is a dagger I see before me. This was another figure that he sent me in advance. Lovely, lovely figures. Another dude with no hands. It's basically harmless. And I think he sent me this one too, because I did like the quilted jacket. That came out really nicely. And there's the swords and shields and what have you that they need. Oh, the guy with no arms can carry the musket. or arquebust as it probably was then. So again, you get the bases, as I say, you get cards. So everything's got activation, attack, shoot, defense, intelligence and agility numbers. This guy is also on with a sword and pistols, and he's got a breastplate which is classed as medium armor. So again, don't really know what all that means yet, but I'm feeling it won't take long to paint these up, so we will hopefully get a game of it and get a chance to try them out. So what else we got in here? So this is cheers from Ian. Thank you, Ian. Much appreciated. Nice little card. So we've got some, oh, this is the kids. Border Reivers. So there's the cards for the children. So there you go, you can see the comparison. The hero had a D10, these have got D4s. Obviously to match their size. They also don't really seem to have any weapons or equipment, which is what you'd expect. You get a set of all the counters. Again, don't know what they really mean yet, but I'm assuming the blood is fairly self-evident. 3 sets of those, which is good. I assume so, don't know what they do, but here we go. This is the Queen's Envoy. It's a proper dandy. Reminds me of Melchick from Blackadder. So activation D8, attack D8, shoot D4, defense D6. Again, you've got all the stats. Everything has its own stat card, which is kind of nice. And then these look to be the special ability cards. When carrying out a shoot action, this character rolls 2 shoot dice and selects the highest result. Interesting. And then you've got some heroic action cards. Heroic recovery is the top one here. Anytime during the game, playing this card will allow the hero to remove 1 wound. Okay. And then we've got some event cards. No Christians, just Elots and Armstrongs, or Armstrangs. Your leader has a dispute with a local minister. They haven't fared well and receive 1 wound that can't be saved. Okay, so it looks like that starts at the beginning of the game with a bit of a disadvantage if you get that card. And here's the rule book. Let's have a look at this. Ooh, quick flick through. Looks like a very interesting book. I'm going to look forward to having a read of this. So it is 90 pages long. You've got, so as well as the rules, he wrote as well as the figures, he wrote the rules. You've got, what have we got in here? Intros, explaining what the period was all about, getting started, the basic rules and concepts, miniatures, game components, creating your family. So that's interesting. It looks like you can, build your family and campaign with it, which is great. I'm quite looking forward to that. All the different equipment, skilled characters, game setup, playing the game. Takes you through the sequence of play, which is activation, movement, interactions, close combat, shooting. Then there's a whole section of rules about mounted rules, including being thrown from a horse, which is always fun, I think, in a skirmish game. You've got some advanced rules, which covers duels, civilians, sentries, prisoners, buildings, reaving, and animals. And then you've got 6 scenarios, which is great. Then looks like there's some famous Reivers, some songs and poems, and then talking about the Reivers of today. So lovely. Nice illustrations, as you kind of expect with Ian's stuff. Is the history of the Reivers. The territory that most of the conflicts covered, across the borders between Scotland and England. And here's the rules. Looks like, you need D4s, 6s, 8s, 10s and 12 dice depending on the troops. There's even a period music. I do like that. So he's even provided, while playing the games, it's good to get into the spirit of the period, and one way to do this is to have music that suits. Below is a list of some well-known songs about the Reivers and the Borders. Most of these can be found on YouTube by various artists. And he's even put a QR code for a Spotify list. Nice touch. I've never seen that in rules before. There's the basic rules. I'm going to have a read of these, and so what we do, here's those beautiful figures. I'm thinking about doing mine a bit in a sort of wintry look. More and more I'm thinking about it, but we'll see. There's taking you through the different cards, the different components of the game, tokens, what they mean. Again, some lovely pictures. Creating a family, how to go around it. So before playing the game, players will need their own families. Building a Reiver family by recruiting soldiers to fight for them. The force can be made up of family members or local tenants that pledge their swords for times when it's required. An average game size is between 8 and 10 miniatures per Reiver side. Small games using 5 figures, with larger games having up to 20. So it doesn't sound like a too big a capital investment. It'd be remiss of me to say that apart from these lovely figures by Iain, you can pick up some Reivers from a couple of other companies, and you can probably mix them in if you so wished. So it looks like it works on a basic funding thing, so you have an amount of funds and how you fill out, or costs points to fill them out. There's the profile of all the characters, from leader, heroes, soldiers, civilians, and even the mount gets a cost and an activation and a wounds number. Actually, it doesn't look like the mount gets a wound number. Then you can increase your stats a bit. There's all the weaponry, again with a cost associated. So I like this sort of game. It reminds me of sort of D&D, but for grown-ups, if you know what I mean. Oh God, I've just insulted everybody who plays D&D. I used to play D&D, but it's building figures, building bands up. I think it's always fun. Other equipment, so you decide what other stuff you want to give them. There's all your distance weaponry there. You've got bows, calivers, crossbows, dual pistols, javelins, latches, longbows, pistols, throwing knives. All the armour here, breastplate, half armour, shield, unarmoured. Other things like banners and torches. All sorts of other rules for different weaponry. You've got pole arms, dual shots, all sorts of things like that. And here's your skilled characters. So these are special characters, I guess, that you bring into the game. Added, it says here, to add flavour and colour to the game. So you've got the Queen's Envoy, or whatever he called it in the in the shortlist, the assistant, and the lackey. The lackey's the one with all the backpacks. I love that. It's fantastic. You've got a houndsman, priest, doctor, surgeon. So there's a multitude of here. And here's the game setup. The game's designed to be fought on quite small tables, I believe. 36 by 36, so 3 foot by 3 foot is all it's designed for. So should be very easy for most people to play. Here's the turn sequences, how the activations work, movement. Lots of examples, which is always good. Love that in a rule system when you actually get some examples. Interactions, so this is interacting with other things on the table, so it could be setting fires or stealing things or wrecking things, opening doors, that kind of actions. Then you've got close combat, shooting, wounds and how that works, mounted rules, command points. Okay, so there is a sort of command system within it, which is good to know. Heroic actions, and then you're into the advanced rules. So this has dueling, civilians, prisoners, buildings, sentries, all that kind of good stuff. Setting fire to buildings, reaving animals, it's so forth. And here we are into the scenarios. So you got to the death, foray, hangings, the hunt, borders luck, and vengeance. So each of them gives you how the table should look, the objectives, any special rules for the scenario, and of course victory conditions. Then there's a whole load of famous Reivers here. So if your name is Maxwell or Scott or Elliot, you can find some of your family ancestors who may or may not have been Reivers. Whole load of glossary of terms, and here we go, some nice songs if you want. I won't sing any of these because I have this voice of a angel, obviously. And then a bit about the Reivers today, because you can still go and have a look at some of the buildings in the Scottish borderlands, and then reenactors. Sarissa do a range of buildings. I'm sure there's others as well, but then a whole load of thank yous, which is brilliant. Crikey, he did do a lot of play testing of these rules, I know. Huge amount of play testing, which is fantastic. So good job to him. Good job to Ian. And here's your quick references at the back. Well done. I thought you'd almost forgotten about quick reference at the back, which is fantastic. And there you go. That is Border Reivers rules. I say I've literally just opened it. You've just seen me open the rules, so I haven't had a chance to properly read it. Had a look at the figures, which look awesome. Next step for me is to do some reading of the rules, painting up of these lovely figures, and have a game of it. But there you go. That is Border Reivers from Iain at Flags of War. I believe you can, if not now, you can buy very shortly all the figures and the rules and everything on his website. So check it out if you're interested in this period. I think it's a low investment in terms of cost, but looks like high investment in terms of fun. So yeah, should be good. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Share all that kind of good YouTubey stuff. Yeah, subscribe if you're interested in this, because I will definitely be having a crack at it at some point, either as a solo or taking it down the club and seeing if anybody else fancies having a game of it. And the fact it's only a 3x3 makes it an easy game to play, I think. So enjoy yourselves, have fun, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon. This is Dom signing out.